Oh, it's getting curiouser and curiouser. Oh my goodness. Oh, if I had my way, everything would be nonsense. But I say, Alice, be very careful what you wish for. The Cheshire Cat appeared. You know what the issue is with this world? Everyone wants some magical solution, a magical solution for their problem, and everyone refused to believe in magic. That is until we heard the rest of the speakers today. Alice trotted off. "Hello again," said Alice to the Cheshire Cat. "Which way should I go from here?" "It depends on where you want to go," said the cat. "That way, you'll find a Mad Hatter, and this way, you'll find the March Hare." And off he vanished. Alice began to question the truth. I've often seen a cat without a grin, but not a grin without a cat. It's the most curious thing I've ever seen in my life. And AI is becoming the most curious thing I've ever seen in my life. I've had the good fortune of many cycles around the moon. I've had the good fortune of questioning the grinning Cheshire Cat who's confused but wants to exploit and sell me something that's going to lead me sometimes into places I'm really glad I found, but others, absolute horror stories. AI is not new as a form of communication. Hallucinations are not new that it generated. Let's think right back to the French Revolution in the late 1700s. There was a new element had become part of the political discourse. Does anybody know what it is? A pamphlet. Paper had been introduced, the printing press had been introduced, and so the printing press invention made it relatively cheap and easy to print pamphlets that could be quickly circulated. And some of the greatest political thinkers exploited that. Not only people in business and that, but also gifted slanderers and outright liars. Marie Antoinette was visually smeared with the pamphleteers, adding to the hunger of execution. And thus the word libel came from the lawmakers. Now, the problem is with going back in history like this, it reminds us where obvious falsehoods have gained more traction in national conversation than verifiable facts. A weapon of mass destruction even, been an obvious one with continuing ramifications. And if there's a difference between now what's happening now, where the Cheshire Cat's leading me that way and past events where it's come from, it's these AI hallucinations. And those of you who know of Professor Nick Enfield up at the University of Sydney, he's conceptualised the need for cognitive literacy, because what AI and its hallucinations is doing, and its algorithms, is offloading our cognitive capacity and abrogating it to a preset set of algorithms and someone else's bias, and that is bothering me and keeping me awake every night. And all I'm doing constantly through my classes and anyone I can influence is say, all I'm going to do is teach you to think critically. How do we sort? So when the Cheshire Cat comes along and says, go that way, I'm going to go, no, I don't like what I'm seeing there. I've actually found an alternative pathway. And so we're seeing the bias of optimism, the confirmation bias, being more easily convinced by a story than a fact. We're more and more believing falsehoods to be true. And my goodness, at the moment, the globe is in such chaos because we've got people in really significant leadership positions and positions of influence that are rewarded and applauded for spreading lies. They're promoted to the highest offices in the land, and we all go, oh, let's get on the bandwagon and promote even more false facts. Alice hadn't gone far. when she spied the Hatter. "Hey, let me ask you some riddles," the Hatter called out. "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" "I don't know," said Alice. "Why?" "Oh, I haven't got the faintest idea," the Hatter replied. And Alice said, "Well, you shouldn't ask riddles if you don't know the answers." And so fundamentally, who's to say which is which? Because herein lies the fundamental concerning problem of AI for me. What is truth? What is a hallucination? And it's all about this fundamental notion of trust. And so Alice was wondering about this, and the Cheshire Cat appeared and he said, "Are you enjoying the game?" "The rules are very confusing," said Alice. I'm not sure they're playing very fairly." Now, we as humans are not mentally ready for an AI-saturated world. A world of disinformation, deep fakes, hallucinated facts. That's why we're confused, why we're in a state of perpetual chaos. And so these AI tools, seemingly benign and helpful on the surface, like ChatGPT, DALL-E, the whole lot, they are going to affect our future of work. They are affecting our spread of information and what is truth. And what is happening is, and what's entirely unexamined, is how AI-dominated future is going to affect our psychology. We've seen a massive increase in our young people with mental health trauma. But there isn't yet an understanding of how simply living amongst so much AI-generated content and systems will affect our sense of the world. AI is changing rapidly individuals and society. It's making it easy to produce disinformation, deep fakes, fake news. Where's their sense of trust? They can now imitate all of us, all our loved ones, and make it so credible. They can trash our reputation in 2 seconds. Trust, once unquestionable, now shattered forever. And thus, this creates more stress as we are inundated with AI. "Oh, the Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away." How do I know that's a fact? Where's the proof? Even in law now, there's a classic case come out of several law summaries where people trying to defend themselves, or even barristers putting up false cases manufactured by AI. I went click, 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 I need a response, can't be bothered looking through all the case histories, and AI is generating absolute rubbish. Thank goodness there was an astute judge on the bench, and this is an American case, you can look it up, and said this is absolute misinformation, this case does not exist. And when we get into that in the court of law, in which we place trust, what hope have we got? And so this digital confusion, it's permeating us, it's diminishing our trust. It's the functional disregard for truth. And no one is holding the AI developers accountable. Mark Zuckerberg proudly announced this week in the media, no more fact-checking, that was announced some time ago, but now I'm going to have society as the fact-checkers. You put in an opinion, and if it's wrong, all the rest of society is going to tell you you're wrong. All I can think of is Marie Antoinette was executed through false information and pilots, and look out, society, because AI is an incidental truth teller. Take public health. We're already seeing cases of massive misinformation about preventable diseases through vaccination, and now we're seeing a groundswell, an increase of measles, mumps, rubella, you name it, because AI is spreading its venom. And so the top threat to global health isn't another pandemic, it's actually disinformation. You know nothing, you may go, call a witness. And to Alice's astonishment, her name was called. "There's more evidence to come, Your Majesty." "Oh, this is nonsense. None of it means anything," cried Alice. "Anyway, who cares? You're only a pack of cards." Preserving and strengthening the human capacity to critical thinking can help us insulate against this virus. But it's not going to stop the misinformation, disinformation, the knowledge and truth that our generation has taken for granted. And so Alice in Wonderland, the story, and AI have parallel themes of trust. Oh, I've had such a curious dream. Alice awoke from her hallucination. If we don't negotiate and mitigate the risks of AI hallucination and make the founders accountable, we're going to be in a perpetual wonderland of Mad Hatters and Cheshire Cats from which we cannot escape and from which we don't know what to trust. And that, girls and boys, is the end of my story.